All right. Hi, everyone, and welcome to this presentation. Today, I'm going to talk about Mansfield Park by Jane Austen. So let's get started. Well, first, I will introduce the characters because I'm going to be honest. This reading was hard for me. I don't know why, because maybe it has many different characters and many different scenarios. So maybe that's why it was hard for me. But let's start with the three sisters. First, we have Mrs. Norris. The three women that you see in the screen are sisters. So the first one is Mrs. Norris. She is like the one who takes care of Mansfield Park. Mansfield Park is uh, the place where this story takes place, and she takes care of the family of her sister, Lady Bertram, and the whole of her or and she takes care of her nephews and the rest of the family. Then you have Lady Bertram. She is kind of lazy and she's always like in other parts of the world. So she's always like drinking. And I remember that they say something about opio. So maybe she was high all the time. And then we have Fanny's mom. I remember her name was Frances Price. And she married, well, later I'm going to tell you about who married who. But Frances Price married a guy who is an alcoholic. So as you can see, the three sisters look different. I mean, Mrs. Norris and Lady Bertram look better than Frances, and that's because Mrs. Norris and Lady Bertram stay like a wealthy family, but Frances, because she married for love, she didn't care about the money when she got married. So that's why she looks like that. And let's move. Then we have Bertram's family. Here we start with who married who. And first, Mrs. Norris didn't got married and didn't had children. So she is by herself, taking care of the whole family. And then we have Lady Bertram, who married Sir Thomas Bertram. He is a wealthy man, and that is something common in this time because if you married a wealthy man, you become someone in society. So that's something common. And they had four children. I mean, now they are adults, but the first one is Tom Bertram because he is the firstborn. He is going to inherit all the wealthy and whole money of Sir Bertram, and he's going to keep Mansfield Park. Then and because of that, he's like an alcoholic. He loves partying, so he's a mess. I mean, he's a nice artist. Yeah, he's very modern, like her aunt, Mrs. Norris said, but he's a mess. So even he got sick till the point of death. So he needs to be careful with that. Then we have Maria and Julia Bertram. Maria is the oldest daughter, and well, she is trying to get married with another guy that his last name is Rushworth. And everything about marriage here is about money and wealthy. So she's trying to get into a nice place. So she's marrying with this guy, but this guy is he's dumb. But I mean, he's the kind of guy that always makes fun of everything and is always joking, is always drinking, is the party type. But Maria doesn't enjoy that. She is only going to marry him because of his money. And then we have Julia. Julia is the youngest a female child, and she right now she doesn't have like a fiance. She's she kind of has a crush with Tom's best friend, and at the end of the story they got like married, so at least they have a happy ending too. And then we have Edmund Bertram. He is the youngest of the Bertrams, and because he is the youngest, he can choose between studying something like law to become a lawyer or something else. But his dream is to become a cleric, and that decision cost him like marriage, but it's going to be like the best decision he could make. Then we have Fanny's family, of course. You already met Fanny, Francis. And then we have Susan and Fanny Price. The protagonist of the story is Fanny, and she is when they were kids, um, they were small. The family, the Bertram's family, took Fanny to Mansfield Park, like as a favor, as a charity favor, and they raised her, but not like one of her children. She was raised like apart. They were always thinking and telling her that she was under the, like, she doesn't belong to the high status that they have. And I mean, she grew like with a lot of beauty and grace, but she was always like bullied because of the situation of her family. And then we have Susan. Susan is a funny sister, and they were in, you know, to understand the story, I had to read the book and also watch the movie. So in the movie, Susan took William's place because William is the oldest brother of Fanny, and they had a nice relationship because they change letters, and they were always writing about all the situations they were facing. So yeah, I love the relationship they have. So now that oh no, I was missing them. They are an important part of the story. They are the Crawfords, Henry and Mary Crawford. They are brother and sister. And as you can see, they are very handsome and beautiful. They are charming, but they have some issues, at least not economic issues, but maybe some, let's say, mental issues, because Mary is always looking for the wealthy men, and she found Edmund as an opportunity to keep that wealthy status. And Henry, he fell in love with Julia, and even for Mary, even though she was married. And then Henry fell in love with Fanny. So it's like a real plot twist. So yeah, now that I introduced you to the whole family and the whole characters, the thing is that when Fanny grew up with Bertram's family, she faced many situations. Like the first one is that she was always going to be different from all the family, and the next one is that when the Crawfords arrived to the family, uh, Henry kind of started flirting with her, but the thing is that she understands that the only thing he wants is to be loved, and he couldn't like give uh, in return that love to other person, even if that person was Fanny. And the situation with, oh my god, the situation with Mary Crawford is that she was only looking for the money, Edmund's money. Even though she wasn't the first one, she wanted to be a wealthy woman. And the story, I mean, I really love this story, even though I didn't understand it at the beginning, because Fanny has a crush on Edmund, even though they are cousins, and in that time is something common that cousins married each other. But for us, when I read the story, and the end was like, oh my god, how can this happen? How could this happen? So to not let you like in the middle of the story. At the end, Edmund realized that he loves Fanny too, because they grew up together and they were like best friends. And at the end, she understands the real reasons for Mary to marry him. And then they had like a fight because Fanny returns to her home with Francis, and they start like missing Fanny because Fanny was like a servant. She was always with Miss Robbins, and she was always doing something for the family. So at the end, she returned to Mansfield Park. She understand what she felt for Edmund, and they got married, even though they are cousins. And the family didn't change. They stay like the same. Mary, you remember Mary? She got married with Rosewood, but then because Henry was in love with her, they escaped, and at the end, that marriage didn't work. So Mary returned home, very ashamed of the situation, but at least she was able to stay a wealthy woman. Julia married Tom's best friend. Tom was about to die. At least he didn't die. And he stayed, he tried to change, but he stayed like the same. And the rest of the family, Sir Thomas, he was a landlord. Yeah, I remember. And he has many slaves. And then Fanny found like a diary with drawings about him and the slaves. So at the end of the story, he changed his mind and he dedicated his life to other things. So if I were Fanny, I would be really confused because I was not. Because of the situation, she fell in love with her cousin, and then other guy proposed her to marry her. So it was like a hard situation. And to finish this presentation, I have some interesting facts about Jane Austen. And she was an English writer who first gave the novel its distinctly modern character to her treatment of ordinary people in everyday life. And she published 4 novels during her lifetime: Sense and Sensibility, Pride and Prejudice, another famous novel, and Mansfield Park, the one that I told you, and Emma. And as you can see, her novels define the era's novel of manners, but they also became timeless classics that remain critical and popular success for over 2 centuries after her death. And these 3 words that I choose, they are related to society in many ways because, as you hear me said, Tom was always like, he got sick till the point he was going to die. So it's something common in our time because people who has a lot of money, they spend it in things that are not worth it, and somehow they end up sick or something like that. And also we have in the other hand, we have poverty because it's something that it's supposed to be solved by governments, but the corruption and everything is always taking place and taking away the opportunities for these people. And the last one, I know that is different from the other words, but siblings. In this case, as you can see, the 3 sisters were different. They have different situations, and also Edmund and her sisters and brothers, also Fanny. So they can be like your best friends, and also they can help you. But sometimes, like Fanny's mother, it can be like some kind of trouble because her sisters didn't wanted her or didn't like her. Uh, but at least they help her with Fanny's situation. So thank you for your attention, and I hope you enjoyed the presentation. I don't know if you have any comments or questions.
Nice presentation, and I like it. And I have a question. And would you like to live in that age?
Oh, definitely no. Well, maybe if I had the opportunity to live in that age, maybe I would enjoy it if I had money, because if you didn't have money, you couldn't like live or have the lifestyle that this kind of persons have. So yeah, it's a hard decision. But instant answer, no, definitely no.
I just wanted to say that it was a really good presentation. I really love the slides. The style was like very cool. That
Thank you.
that makes like a match with the pictures.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering which was your favorite family and also your favorite character.
Well, my favorite character definitely was Fanny, and my favorite family maybe was Bertram's family, but they have many trouble, so they were selfish and things like that. So, well, maybe those two.
Well, thank you, Pablo.
Thank
Nice
you.
presentation.
Thank you. See you later.
Bye.